River City star Nalini Chetty feels more avenues open to biracial actors than 15 years ago. This is not good because there's already like the black women who are taking away our parts, right? And they're going to be taken away based on color. And so she's going around and saying, oh, it's much better. Ahead of starring as Stella in Pit Lockery theaters, A Streetcar Named Desire, the actress looks back on a busy couple of years appearing in Karen Perry 6'4" and upcoming Crime 2. She's doing well. I mean, this looks like a biracial woman, a white woman, right? Not biracial black. It also be like Scottish, like white or something. When Nalini Chetty graduated from drama school, a member of the family wondered what character she'd play, as she had a Scottish accent, but you don't look Scottish. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. She can pass. If I heard a Scottish accent, she was here, she'd be Scottish. So she's like interracial, but like white with white. Unless she got a part of Zinni Houzon in River City, the actress conceded it was hard. But since leaving the soap, although she returned as part of last year's 20th anniversary celebrations, Nalini has become a mainstay of Scottish-made shows, appearing in Karen Perry 6'4" with Kevin McKidd and upcoming 2 with Dougray Scott. The actress of Long Nidri, East Lothian, whose dad is a South African Indian and mom was from Gangramouth, said, as someone who identifies as biracial, it really feels there are avenues open to me that would not have been open 15 years ago. I think that's a careless statement. I mean, number one, you look white. We don't get to really pay, like, how often is there biracial characters even in a movie? So, I mean, I don't know who you're comparing it to. Or in her mind, is she comparing it to like a black or white woman and she's thinking it's just like that? Because it's not. Although it's supposed to be South African Indian, I guess that wouldn't even be dark. Okay, so she's Indian and white. Indian is closer to white than black, right? That's basically what she is. So, she's half Indian, but I find they're almost passing though. That's why I went down south, because I felt I hadn't seen people of mixed race origin playing these parts on Scottish stage and screen, and so I thought I had to go down there and change my accent. I think you were just seen as white, and that wasn't even relevant. I would see as white. In London, they didn't want her speaking with her Scot accent, and rather than acting, she demonstrated vacuum cleaners in store and handed out newspapers. She eventually got her breakthrough in River City in 2011 and returned to Scotland. But since making her home in Lindsay near Glasgow with her lawyer husband and 2 children, Nietzsche sees a change. Nalini as Stella and Kirsten Stewart as Blanche in rehearsals for Streetcar Named Desire at Pit Lockery Theatre. From tonight until September, she plays Stella in a streetcar called Desire at Pit Lockery Theatre, a part she doesn't think she had been considered 4 or 5 years ago. Bridgerton especially has opened doors for more diverse, but it's fake. So that's what I don't like about it. I don't care. It's fake. Bridgerton is a movie that's trying to rewrite history with more black people in it when it doesn't exist, and I don't like that kind of anything. Just don't base it in real time. Don't have, like, you know, if that's what you're gonna do, it's to manipulate the young kids to thinking it was more like that, or when it wasn't. She's added, I feel like things are really busy in Scotland. Post-pandemic, there has been a surge in demand for content. With so many streaming channels, there seems to be many different platforms and casts moving forward in terms of representation. Yeah, it's a whole different competition now. Nalini played Zinni in River City for 4 years, leaving the show in 2015 after her character was blown up by a car bomb meant for gangster Lenny Murdoch, but she returned to write some of the Shield Inch storylines involving Casey and Angus and their unplanned pregnancy. Last year, in 20th anniversary episode, she was part of Stefan Purdon's character Bob's Alternative Shielding, and given EastEnders revealed last month Michelle Colin's character Cindy Bale will be returning to Walford from the grave after more than 20 years, Nalini isn't closing the door on her own miraculous return. She said, I was back for 20th anniversary special, and that was pretty surreal. I think most probably my Shielding days are over, but never say never. If they didn't tell me that she was half Indian, that's just a white woman. to me, like even right? Because a lot of mixed people are just white one. It's fair to say she hasn't looked back since leaving River City. Nalini said, "It wasn't hard to leave. I was pregnant with my son and definitely ready for change. I think the time was right. Very much enjoyed the more involved storyline. The consent storyline was a welcome challenge. It was heartening to hear that it affected people and raised awareness on a difficult subject." What, this is about sex again? As well as loving her time on the soap, it has also given her career the kickstart it needed. She said, "I feel super busy and productive, and now I'm mom of two fantastic wee ones since leaving River City. I've written for TV, radio, acted in lots of theater, hosted a podcast, and navigated a pandemic. Never a dull moment." After the pandemic, her first TV role was in Karen Perry, and she said it was a relief to be able to be back on the set. Although filming at the time with COVID restrictions was complicated, she added there were quite a few familiar faces from River City. It's always nice to see folks from past jobs. Nalini then got a bigger role in ITV-VX crime drama 6-4 with Kevin McKidd, playing the top-wearing D.S. Sharon Raman. The whole production is hoping for a second series. I don't even watch TV anymore. Does anybody watch TV? I don't even watch TV anymore. What is TV at this point? She said, "I loved working with Kevin. It needs a second series. Sharon was also slightly cut down because I got COVID. I'd love to be in the back. There are so many tank tops still to be worn." Next up is the second series of Irvin Welsh penned crime, which stars Dougray Scott. She said, "Crime was fun. I only met Dougray at the read-through and Irvin Reed in opposite me. My scene was the actor Derek Riddle, who was lovely, and I was pleased to be able to talk to him about Happy Valley, my all-time favorite program." Okay, our scene was filmed at midnight, which was a shock to the system. Sleep might be difficult this year as she juggles work in Pitlochry with commuting to see her family. Nalini, who has been in the Perthshire town since April rehearsing, said, "It's unbelievably beautiful up here. I'm in love with the place, the theater and the surroundings. I'm not sure I realized how quite magical the area was. I'm here for the best part of 6 months, so hopefully get to explore a lot more. I do have to get back for my kids though." She has son Luca, 7, and daughter Maria Kate, 2. Her husband Alan, he will be looking after the kids as she works in Pitlochry, and then from August, while she's doing Streetcar, she'll start another play starring John Michie and Sally Reed, a group portrait in summer landscape, which after a month in Pitlochry goes the Royal Lyceum in Edinburgh. She said, "I met John on my first TV job, one of the last ever Target, and he was a pleasure to work with." Starring in Streetcar is something of a full circle for Nalini. She smiled. "My first acting role was in Tennessee Williams' A Glass Mangaray at school. Matriarch Amanda Wingfield, his writing spoke to me like nothing before. I then wrote about Tennessee Williams for my hires and went on to study in the work in depth in my 6th year. When I studied at Bristol Uni, I directed Streetcar for the Drama Society. Now revisiting it, I have far greater understanding than I did then. I feel like Tennessee and I keep colliding. Maybe I'll get to play Amanda again in my 60s.